episode number 256, Goodbye Holden. Welcome to the Camaro Show,
a podcast about all things Camaro and GM performance news.
I'm Chris Frezza.
And I'm Jason Debler.
We're your hosts for this week's episode of the Camaro Show. Want to be part of our show? It's easy.
Just leave a message on our voicemail hotline at 586-486-3182.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And welcome back, everyone, for another exciting episode of the Camaro Show. I'm Chris.
I'm Jason.
What's up, dude?
It's been so cold here. We always talk about weather now, it seems.
Weather, gas prices, whatever.
weather, gas prices. But you know what? It's the sun's out finally, so that's cool to see. Yeah, what's up with you?
It's been a decent week.
Yeah.
We didn't have any snow this week, did we? No, we might have had like a little dusting, but you know, any of the snow we've gotten this winter, like a couple days later, it's like in the 40s and it all melts. So there's currently nothing on the ground here.
Yeah, it's like here too. It'll snow in the morning. In fact, it did snow Thursday morning. Like we had a pretty good snow, but by the time it hit the ground, it was, you could still see the ground through it. It was just like a little dusting by the time it got there. So we were talking about this. I remember winters in Michigan when I was a kid where there was one time when we couldn't leave the house for 3 or 4 days.
Wow.
Because the roads were so snowed over that even the snow plows couldn't get through. And my dad put on his motorcycle gear and some winter gear and walked about 5 miles to my grandfather's tractor dealership and got a giant Massey Ferguson 4-wheel drive tractor and cleared the roads so the snow plows could get through.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember seeing him walking away in the blizzard, thinking I was probably 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and I was thinking it was the last time I was ever going to see him.
Dang.
It's just like in the movie, walking off and just kind of disappearing in the snow.
Crazy.
Yeah, but now we just get like a little dusting, and it's like, oh my God, this weather sucks. You don't know the half of
it. We had some sad news this week.
Yeah, we're going to dedicate a chunk of this episode to it because we here in the United States, we don't think about Holden as much as what I'm sure the Australians do.
Right.
Holden was a big deal to the Camaro. Huge.
Yeah.
And they're shutting it down.
Yep. What else we got going on this week?
Mm-hmm. Well, Alexa is apparently talking to me. Put that on mute. Sorry, guys. We're going to talk a little bit about Holden. We're going to talk about the impact it had on Camaro and General Motors as a whole. We're going to talk about some of Holden's most iconic cars, from some articles that we've got. And then we're going to talk about somebody just driving a rental Camaro right off a cliff. And then a virtual drag race between the Camaro SS and the Lexus LC 500. This is kind of a joke article, I think it's got to be. And then, Chris, we were talking. We got some voicemails, huh?
We do. We got some voicemails this week.
Good to hear. Good to hear from our listeners. Always good. So, let's talk about Holden.
Mm-hmm. So, Sunday of this week, General Motors announced that they're going to be shutting down Australian automaker Holden for good. Mm-hmm. I think 2021 will be their last cars that they're going to sell, and then they're done. GM has taken this difficult decision after an exhaustive analysis of investment required for Holden to be competitive for long-term in Australia and New Zealand's car markets. Regrettably, this assessment determined such an investment could not meet GM's investment thresholds, including delivering an appropriate return. So the bean counters win, and they are shutting down another part of General Motors' arm, Holden. It's kind of sad.
It is.
It's kind of sad. I don't know if it's as sad as when they shut Pontiac down, but we were kind of talking about that before the show.
I think it's sadder.
But yeah, Holden will definitely be missed. They produce some iconic vehicles, V8 sedans and wagons and utes and stuff like that. And let's not to say that it was a huge
influence,
yeah, with Camaro too. I mean, I remember talking with Cheryl, and she would be on conference calls with Australia at 9-10 o'clock at night. She's like, I gotta go talk to Australia. So engineering, I think they were sharing with because of the platform of the vehicle.
Yes. Yep. We're just in case we're referencing Cheryl Pilcher.
Yeah.
She was she brand manager, product manager?
Yeah, something like a
Camaro?
like product manager.
I forgot her title, but she was a big significant portion of the 5th gen Camaro. So yeah, that was, I mean, we talk about this almost every episode, the impact that the 5th gen Camaro had, and that couldn't have happened without Holden's involvement.
Right.
Well, I mean, think about it. Australian design, Canadian built, American muscle, as some people would say.
Detroit, baby.
Yep. And that's, the car couldn't have happened without that combination. So yeah, so Holden, we thank you, and we honor you with talking about this.
Yeah. Whew, man.
It made anytime we do a meet and greet like at SEMA or something like that, we meet somebody from Australia, can't help but talk about how awesome those cars are.
Yes.
Even Ford made some pretty cool cars in Australia that we wish we could get. The Falcon, I think, is one of them, something like that. We're GM oriented guys, so we know more about that. But this Road and Track article, I mean, right there, that green Ute on as the header image, just to me, it's good looking.
They should have definitely brought that over here. I mean, there's a
Ute,
lot of rebadged Holdens that came to the U.S. market, and I know that there's a cost involved in importing them here, but that Ute I think would have sold pretty good.
I would like to think so, but there's similar body style vehicles that did not do well ever after the El Camino and what's the Ford version of it, the Ranchero, I think was the Ford version. Well, there was the Dodge Rampage, which was basically like this is from the 80s though, 83, 84, that only sold for I think 2 years or something like that. There was that kick-ass mid-engine version that was at SEMA, one of my favorite cars there, by the way. And then let's see here, the Subaru Brat was kind of like that, like a little truckster. And then then Subaru made another one that was a 4-door car with a wagon. I forgot the name of it. It's more recent, and they have like a little cult following, but they didn't do good either. I think in America, it's like, I'm going to have a truck or I ain't going to have nothing. I don't want a half car, half truck. Yeah. They don't really talk like that around here, but some do. But you're right, Chris. I wish they would have. But if they had, would you have bought one?
Me personally, no, because I'm not a fan of them.
The Ute? But you wish they would have. I think that's what it comes down to.
I think they would have done well. I've heard enough people talk about how they've wished that GM would have brought over the Ute, kind of like when they rebadged the GTO and the Camaro SS, or the Chevy SS and stuff like that. Yeah,
I agree. But that's the thing is, I like you have heard a lot of people saying I wish they bring it over, but I haven't heard anybody say I'd buy one immediately.
Yeah.
So, and I think that's and that circles right back to what we're talking about, dollars. Strictly financial.
Because that Chevy SS I would have bought if the pricing was better.
Oh, I
4-door, rear-wheel drive, stick shift. I mean, the price point was horrible, though. It was horrible.
And that's the thing. Anything they would have brought over in a niche market would have been
$50,000.
By comparison, it's not bad.
Yeah.
So I wish they would have. I don't know. Wish in one hand, as they say. So let's talk about some of the killer cars.
I mean, two cars that come to mind immediately when you talk about Holden is the Commodore and the Monero.
Mm-hmm.
And the Monero was the one they converted into the GTO, right?
Yes, that is correct.
Was it also the one that they converted into the Chevy SS as well?
I believe the newer ones? So.
Yeah.
Yeah. You make a great point right there. There's other cars other than Camaro. The GTO, the SS, and the G8, the Pontiac G8, I think. Was that also based? What was the G8 based on?
Don't know.
Oh, I forgot. I get them mixed up now.
Okay, so the Holden VF Commodore was the Chevy SS, the Chevrolet SS. It was built on the Zeta platform, which shared the 5th generation Camaro.
Yep. Okay. Yep. And then the G8 was the G8 was a rebadged Holden Commodore.
Right.
So the GTO
That's right. That's right.
was the GTO based on then?
The GTO was based on the
Oh,
Monero.
it's based on the Monaro.
Yeah.
Yeah. How with an Australian accent? How would that sound? Monaro.
I have no idea.
I'm not going to get that one right. I know we've got Australian listeners. Please call in and tell us how to say it with the proper accent.
Yeah.
Monaro.
Thank you.
I don't know.
Thank you.
Oh. Gosh.
Yeah, the G8 GT is. I actually looked at that car because I had a G6, and I remember when the G8 came out, and I was like, "Ooh, this is nice." And then the G8 GT came out, and I was like, "Ooh, yeah." And didn't Stevie have one?
Steve had a G8 GT, and he put 5th gen Camaro wheels on it, and it looked so good.
That's what people were doing. Where they were putting the 5th gen wheels on them.
And I told him, I'm like, dude, you got to put Camaro wheels on that. Get your hands on something. And it just looked right, man. God, it looked good. It was a good looking car. It was fast. I drove it. It was fast for a sedan. It's a good car. I forgot you had a G6.
Yeah.
Is that the only Pontiac you ever had?
Is that the only Pontiac I ever had? I think so.
I don't think I've ever owned a Pontiac.
I remember going to a Pontiac dealer, looking at a Cyclone, but I never bought one back in the day.
Yeah, don't forget about the Pontiac G8 GXP.
Oh yeah,
that had the LS3 in it. That thing was available in a manual too. It was basically
it had that big old wing in the back. I think. The GXP. Oh, that was a Grand Prix. Wasn't it a Grand Prix GXP?
Grand Prix big wing? I don't think it had a big wing.
I thought it did.
But that was basically the Chevy SS.
Yeah.
Just, And I'm looking at Wikipedia here. There was a G8 ST. In addition to the sedan, a 2-seat coupe utility, basically the Ute, called the G8 ST was shown at the New York International Auto Show in March 2008, based on the Holden Ute, but was built on the same G8 platform with a 73-inch cargo bed. Sport truck had 361 horsepower. After a naming contest with more than 18,000 suggestions, the name remained G8 ST. Slated for release as a 2010 model to be Pontiac's coupe utility, and GM's first coupe utility. Here we go. It circles back in the United States since the Chevrolet El Camino, man. That was discontinued in 1987. In January of 2009, GM announced to Pontiac dealers that the G8 ST was canceled due to budget cuts and restructuring. Oh. Chop, man. So it was close. It was close.
Close, but no cigar.
What other cars can we talk about here? We want to go back through the history books here, because there's
old ones.
The old ones, the Holden HK Kingswood wagon, and the Holden HK Monaro, which looks like it was more Pontiac Tempest based, if I'm getting that right, or styled. That's before they were combined. The Holden LJ Torana looked almost like a Datsun. The Holden HQ Statesman. This is all part of a Car and Driver article. The Holden HQ Monaro, GTS 2-door and 4-door. The Holden HZ Sandman, passenger car front end, pickup truck cargo area in the back, almost like a delivery van, panel van. The Holden TX Gemini, again, looks like an import. Then we get into the good stuff. The Holden VH Commodore SS in the early 80s. The Holden VL Commodore Group A in 1988. That thing had ground effects and wings and all kinds of crazy, nutty things going on.
Crazy, nutty things.
Crazy, nutty things. And then, of course, the Holden VU Ute SS, the Holden Monaro / Pontiac GTO, and then, of course, the Holden VF Commodore / Chevrolet SS. Man, it's a bummer. I wish I could have had a chance to drive one or could have afforded to own one.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia article for the G8.
Which part?
The Pontiac G8, and I'm looking at the different names. Depending on where you lived in the world, it was called something different. So if you lived in the Middle East or South Africa, it was the Chevrolet Lumina.
Oh, that's right. I did know that.
If you were in Brazil, it was called the Chevrolet Omega. Also the Holden Commodore and G8. Well, his successor was the Chevrolet SS and the Chevrolet Caprice. And the predecessor was the Bonneville, the Grand Prix, and the GTO.
Let's see what G8 GXPs are going for on eBay just for kicks. Whoa. 2009 with 26,000 miles in silver. Manual. Is it manual? No, it's automatic transmission. 29 grand.
Damn.
Still expensive.
Yeah.
But it's basically
cheaper.
the Chevy SS. What'd you say?
You can get a Corvette cheaper.
You get a Z20H, but you don't get 4 doors. You don't get.
Right.
See what they sold for. That's what they're asking for. Huge difference there. Oh, one with 25,000 miles went for $37,000.
Wow.
So they're holding value. Crazy. It's crazy.
Crazy. So we could talk about Holden forever, but I'm sure we'll mention it again when they finally, pull the plug. It's 21.
Swing that axe.
Yeah. Let's see what else is going on here.
Well, let's bring the room back up to a happy topic. 2 killed when rental Camaro drives off cliff.
Wow, this is actually pretty sad. They've.
I didn't read the article.
In Mercury News, this is in California. The Big Sur is like the coast, so you can take I forget what it's called, where you can drive all along the coast in California, and Big Sur is the name of one of the areas of it. They have a picture here. It's supposed to be very scenic, and news reported that someone had seen a fire, and so they called the fire, because they got all those big fires in California. So they called the fire department to put out a fire, and what they discovered was a rented 2018 Chevy Camaro had gone off the cliff and had I guess started on fire. They did recover 2 bodies from the car, and the victims' identities haven't been released. So it's very, very sad. It said the vehicle was engulfed in flames about 300 feet down from the cliff. So, oof.
Wow.
All I can hope is that they were killed on impact and didn't have to suffer.
At that height, probably the case.
Oof. They don't. The crash is under investigation. But I saw this pop up in a lot of my Google News feeds this week, so that's why we're talking about it. But very sad, very sad. As Monterey County in California, wow, crazy.
Well,
so.
This just goes to show you that they say you got to have control with power, not just power.
Right.
And 450 horsepower, even if it's the 300 plus horsepower of the V6, if it was a rental, it's probably a V6. And oh man. Yeah. Especially around there.
Crazy.
Indeed. You know what else is crazy?
What?
Another article on Auto Evolution did a virtual drag race between Camaro SS and Lexus LC 500, which I don't know too much about Lexuses. My neighbor in his Corvette drove by. Or the guy that lives down the street. I can hear him coming from a mile away. Let's see here. Yeah, well, I mean, okay. I just looked up the price of that 2020 Lexus LC 500. It's only twice as much as the Camaro.
Oh, is that all?
Yeah, it's $90,000. But they did this simulation, Camaro SS and LC 500, side by side, and they're using Gran Turismo to do it. But they're saying that Gran Turismo is one of the best racing simulators ever, and all cars available in the game actually accurately reproduce their real-life siblings. I guess, simulation. But, boy, it's not a quarter-mile drag race, that's for sure. It seems like it goes on forever. And eventually, the Lexus passes the Camaro after the Camaro leads for a while. Spoiler alert. But, yeah, $92,000 starting price for the Lexus LC.
Okay.
What's it look like? Oh, it's pretty good looking for what it's worth. Eesh.
Okay. I'll link that up in the show notes as well.
Remember when Gran Turismo came out?
Oh yeah, I still have it, dude. I still have my PS2 hooked up here with the steering wheel.
With the kids in the house. Only Detroiters know what I'm from. Drew and Mike days know what we're talking about. From O.J. Simpson.
Yeah.
It was O.J. Simpson, right? With the kids in the house.
Yep.
All right. I'm looking forward to this next part. You said we got some voicemails, yeah?
We have some voicemails.
Let's hear them.
Let's see. Let's go.
Hey, Chris and Jason. This is Tony Huntmer, Camaro family, Tony Huntmer. Anyway, so I was calling about the Camaro convertible Camaro. I say it both ways, but I typically say convertible Camaro. But when I'm posting on Instagram, I have to post hashtags for the posts a Camaro convertible and convertible Camaro, so people find them both ways. But anyway, so the real reason I'm calling is talking about the electric cars. Is one thing that we don't have yet is, you know, the dealerships or the auto manufacturers are all trying to go like 60 or 70% electric by 2028, and that's also going to put a huge draw on the grid. So the thing that we don't have yet is the infrastructure of the power to handle that many electric cars on a power grid of the U.S. and on also just anywhere on the planet. Even in California, they used to do rolling blackouts, and our power is supposedly not robust enough to hold that many people powering their cars, and solar power for chargers is not going to be there yet either. So definitely gas is not going away anytime soon, but there's a huge amount of work that has to go into infrastructure to power all these cars that I was going to put on the road. So, and also Tesla. So anyway, that's it. Have a good day. Thanks, guys. Appreciate the show. It's awesome. I listen every week on my way to breakfast on Saturdays or Sundays. Take care. Bye.
Well, thank you very much, Tony, for calling in. Appreciate that.
And great opportunity right here to shout out Camaro Family on Instagram.
Absolutely.
Largest Camaro page on Instagram.
Yeah, huge.
396,000 followers.
Dang.
Awesome. Great guy, too. Great to hear from you again, Tony, and love your Instagram page.
Yeah.
So he makes a great point, man. Remember rolling blackouts?
They're still experiencing rolling blackouts, and I thought that was just an Enron thing. Remember Enron and their whole scam?
Yeah.
Those poor people in California, man. Whew.
They get punched around.
Yeah, I know. They can't even wash clothes and do laundry on the same day, or do laundry and take a shower on the same day. It's crazy over there.
It's crazy.
Crazy. Anyways, yeah, but he's talking about infrastructure for electric vehicles. Yeah, you poor people in California are going to constantly have rolling blackouts if more people get on the grid.
Yeah, infrastructure is a word that I hear more and more often about a lot of things.
Yeah,
we're not thinking. We're letting the tail wag the dog, as they say.
Yeah.
So, man, good points, Tony.
Good points.
Great points. Thank you for calling in.
Yeah.
Good to hear from you.
All right. Let's do another voicemail here.
Sure.
Let's go. There's nobody there. It's silence.
Aww.
12 seconds of silence. Okay.
Aww.
Nelson. Well, if you guys want to call in and not say anything or anything, or you want to shout out your Instagram or something like that, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Here, give us a call. Here's how.
Hey, want to be part of this show?
Well, we want to hear from you.
Just hit our digits at 586-486-3182, 24 hours a day.
Leave us a message, and we'll feature it in an upcoming show.
So what are you waiting for? Do it now.
All right. Okay. Here's the last voicemail then.
Yeah, my number's
Beep, 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 beep.
1271, Thomas Medley,
Beep, beep, beep.
and I'm trying to get, and I've got a convertible Z01 19 model show. Anyway, I'm trying to get with the Yanko people. I'm headed to Arizona. I need that car fixed up like that right there. I'll pay them. You would give me a call back. Thomas, thank you.
I'm not exactly sure what the point of this voicemail is.
I think he's trying to get a hold of SVE.
Oh, should we send this message to Dave?
Yeah, we should. Hold on a second here, unless give me a second here. I'll just pull up their numbers right now. Let's give that out. Specialty Vehicle Engineering 732. Let me make sure this is the right phone number. Here we go. Here we go. The number you want to call, Specialty Vehicle Engineering, 732-240-3696.
That's their phone number.
If you want to get your ZL1 converted over, do they do retrofits after, or do they sell them as complete cars?
I think they sell them as complete cars. I don't think they do retrofits.
I think that's right. So you may have to sell your car and buy another one from them.
I think his name was Thomas. So Thomas, if you're listening, that's the phone number. Can you say it again? Do you got the phone number again?
No, I was looking around at the Cyclone on their page. Go back. 732-240-3696.
There you go, Thomas. There you go.
Glad to be of service to you.
And I'll beep out his phone number or take it off.
I tried.
I remember. I'm gonna write that down. Make sure when I'm editing, take off phone number. Take off phone number. Okay. You had a new video you released, and we didn't get a chance to talk about it last week. You want to talk about it now? And I'll go ahead and link that up in the show notes.
Oh, what was my last one?
Because we had was that the bulbs, the headlight bulbs?
Yeah. Oh, you know what? Before I forget, I think I'm lining up, working with another company on my Corvette for more videos. American Hydrocarbon.
Never heard of them.
Pretty cool company. Yeah. They're based out of Florida, and the website AmericanHydrocarbon.com. And the reason why I'm mentioning that is because they do more than Corvettes. They also do a lot of Camaro stuff. Let me see if I can get over here. A lot of like custom engine covers and stuff like that. Ground effects, splitters, spoilers. Seems to be pretty cool, folks. And here we go. Shop.AmericanCarb. I'm going to get this wrong. Shop.AmericanHydrocarbon.com. Where's the Corvette Camaro stuff? It's not on their website, but he sent me some stuff. This is not helping anybody on this show right now. Anyway,
not at all.
They got some stuff for Camaro. Sorry.
Talk about your
last
video.
I did. Yeah, I installed some LED headlights on my wife's car, and they worked really good. But then the company came out with an upgraded version, and so I made a video of that one after the first video. And I tell you what, man, LED headlight technology is getting pretty cool. They're really good for budget headlights. I think they cost $40 a pair. My first LED headlights, I think, cost me $80 or $90, and they were crap.
So what's the lifespan now of a LED headlight?
I don't know. I haven't had them long enough to wear them out.
Was it 5 years, 10 years?
Well, it kind of like, I also advocate ceramic coating, something I've been doing lately that I really like. It all depends on the conditions. Because every headlight is different on every car, and the spacing is different, and then every LED headlight is different. The things that kill LED headlights are heat.
Okay.
And well, that's pretty much it. Heat. Heat kills it. So if it's got good ventilation, or if it's not in an enclosed area, it's going to last a little longer. But heat will make the headlights dim over time. And then I don't know if it'll actually kill it, but it'll make it dim. It'll lose its power.
They say like a household LED light bulb is supposed to last like 26 years.
Yeah, because it's in a very controlled environment. There's not a whole lot of vibration. There's not a whole lot of temperature fluctuations, and just certainly not a whole lot of wear. So I can see that happening. It's also in a simple thing. It's just in a socket. There it is. Yeah. The only thing that's going to happen to it is get a little dust on it. But LED headlights, they're smashed into places sometimes. What's important is, in addition to heat, is also having the LED chips replicate the positioning of the OEM filament as closely as possible, because the reflector or even the projector is designed around a very particular spot where that light is coming from. And like my first LED headlights, it had these two giant M&M sized LED chips, and there was probably a quarter of an inch, maybe even a half an inch in between them, so they were pushed outward. Where if you look at a filament, it's dead center. It comes from a very single point. So of course they were crap, and they were scattered everywhere and all that. So as the headlight technology gets better and better, they start moving those chips closer and closer to a factory's position. It gets just better light output. So I'm just impressed by it, especially with the price point. But here's something that not everybody knows. Brighter is not always better when it comes to LED headlights. And I found this out.
Yeah, it pisses off a lot of people too.
Well, the reason why is because, there's two reasons why. One is people don't aim their headlights after they change bulbs.
What about brand new cars? Brand new cars who are blaring white light at you.
Oh, that's
that's what pisses me off. I'm coming down my street, and here comes this brand new Lexus or brand new Toyota, just blaring white light at me.
They probably just need to be aimed.
It's a brand new car, though.
I gotta think that's part of dealer prep.
Oh my God!
I mean, when was the last time you aimed any of your headlights?
Never.
Yeah, but they go out of positioning.
They do?
Yes, and they're really easy to do. But every time
I've
you
never
replace
heard of
headlights,
going to like the dealership and they're like, "Oh, your headlights need to be aimed."
No, they don't. It's one of those things that's often overlooked. I mean, they don't go wildly out of position. Yeah. But when I did testing, I tested the Diode Dynamics SL1 LED headlight. the best non-budget LED headlight out there. It's made here in America. Awesome company, by the way. And they do a lot of stuff for Camaros. The first time I met them was at Camaro Fest in Bowling Green. Yeah, I was testing in my Jeep Grand Cherokee, and I, put them in, and I aimed them, and they were out. They were definitely out of aim. I mean, I can't think of the last time I actually aimed the headlights. So people don't do that. They stick brighter in there. And the other problem is that sometimes the new version is so bright that the reflector that was designed for an OEM filament can't handle the brightness, and then you get scatter.
Yeah.
It's just not designed for something that bright. So I like upgrading it because it's fun, it's affordable, and it works. You get better lighting, but there's so many variables. Anybody can do it. You just got to do it right. Yeah. But this one seems to be the ones that I did. It's by a company called Oxido, and they seem to make pretty good quality stuff for budget headlights.
Okay.
It's going to get to the point though where they're all LED. They're actually doing laser headlights now.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of groundbreaking. They haven't gotten there yet. It's kind of, remember when HIDs came out, people were blown away by it.
Oh yeah.
Laser is actually a thing, and there's one company that makes laser retrofit headlights, and they were tested by another YouTube channel called Headlight Revolution. They're really cool guys, and they determined that the laser retrofit headlights just suck. It's not ready yet. We're not ready for it yet.
Well, I will link up your video in the show notes, and people can learn even more about headlights.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I'm ready to get out of here. Are you ready to get out of here?
I'm ready to get out of here and go enjoy the weekend.
Yep. All right, guys. There will be no new show next week. I'm going away on vacation, and so we'll be there. We'll be back the week after. We'll have a best of show next week. So,
yep.
Until then, we'll see you then.
Pick a good one, Chris.
Thanks for listening to The Camaro Show.
Don't forget, drop us a voicemail at 586-486-3182.
We'll see you next week. See ya.